Jägermeister and Red Bull. The combination is not exactly a synonym for sophistication and taste. But can it be? We'll find out. Today we're taking a look at this infamous college party drink, which to be fair has earned its notorious reputation. It's been quite a long time since I ordered one of these, but I'll give it a try today. Then I'll show you my elevated version of it. It will be topped with a tiny amount of Red Bull foam, so stick around to see how it's made. Plus, if you make it to the bottom of the glass, we'll be looking for input on how we should decorate our studio. But first, not something I thought I'd say again, it's Jägerbomb time. A Jägerbomb apparently goes by many different names. In Mexico it's called a Perla Negra, or the Black Pearl. In Finland it's called Akkuhappo, meaning battery acid. And in Germany it's also known as a Turbojäger, or a Flying Stag, with flying coming from Red Bull's marketing slogan, Red Bull gives you wings, and a stag being the iconic Jägermeister logo. Jägermeister was created in 1934 by Kurt Mast in what was then his family's vinegar factory in Wolfenbüttel, Germany. The herbal liqueur is made with 56 botanicals and clocks in at 35% ABV. 53 years later, Austrian businessman Dietrich Mateschitz created Red Bull. He was inspired by functional drinks from East Asia. Alongside the energy drink, he also developed a unique marketing concept and launched Red Bull on April 1st, 1987. And according to the internet, the Jägerbomb was created 10 years later, in 1997, somewhere around Lake Tahoe in California. That's apparently where some skiers first dropped Red Bull into Jägermeister and called it the Red Bull Blaster. It doesn't say if it was chugged or not, but it was the 90s, so you be the judge. I'll make the classic first and take a few sips, since the chugging days are well behind me. Before I do though, a word of warning. When mixing energy drinks and alcohol is really not a great idea. Caffeine in the energy drinks can mask the sedative effects of alcohol, making you feel more alert and thinking you can drink more. As a result, you can get more drunk than you realize, increasing the risks that come with alcohol. But in the name of science, and to try and improve the cocktail, let's make the Jägerbomb. Start with a cold can of Red Bull and pour about 3 ounces or 90 ml into a rocks glass. Jägermeister is then poured into a separate shot glass, and like a bomb, dropped into Red Bull. Chug at your own risk, but I'll take a sip to see what we can do to fix it. Beneath the sweet bomb, that is the combination of an energy drink and a liqueur, you'll be able to detect aromatic herbal notes of Jägermeister with a zesty, slightly tangy profile of Red Bull. It has a slightly herbal, almost candy-like taste. Not that that is the point of this drink, but we have something to work off of. So let's move on to the second part of the episode, making the ingredients for our elevated Jägerbomb. We'll keep the Jägermeister as it is for now, and only focus on replacing the energy drink. To do that, we'll make a no-bull soda and a Red Bull foam. The soda will mimic the flavor and sensation of Red Bull, all without the caffeine, and a tiny amount of Red Bull foam will be enough to get a distinct aroma. So before I show you the recipe for the cocktail, let's go over how to make these two ingredients. To make the soda, we'll start by making a clarified cordial, for which you'll need tea, sugar, citric acid, lime peels, citron pepper, and agar-agar. To make the tea, I'm using 350 grams of water, which I'll bring to a boil before adding 5 grams of dried lemongrass and 1.5 grams of nutmeg flower, also known as mace. This spice is made from the reddish covering of the nutmeg seed and has a similar but more delicate flavor than nutmeg. Crush the mace with a mortar and pestle, and since it has some oil that will stick to the mortar, rinse it out with water and pour back in the saucepan. Add the lemongrass, cover and let it steep for 6 minutes. Then strain through a fine strainer and allow it to cool. You can use cold water to speed up the cooling process. We need 300 ml of this tea for our cordial, so pour that into a blender and blend together with 130 grams of plain white sugar, 12.5 grams of citric acid, 2.5 grams of lime peels. Make sure to find limes with food grade peels, and 0.2 gram of citron pepper for a little spice. Crush that with a mortar and pestle as well. With all these ingredients, we'll make a no-bull with less sugar and more acidity than Red Bull to improve the cocktail's overall balance. But we're also making sure there's plenty of citrus notes. To clarify this cordial, I'll take approximately a quarter of the liquid and pour it into a saucepan, where I will dissolve 0.7 grams of agar-agar. Stir constantly as you heat it up over medium heat. Take it off the heat and add the rest of the cordial while still stirring. This will chill it down. But for agar to work its magic, we need to cool it completely, so place it in the freezer or an ice bath for the gel to form. In the meantime, we can start making the Red Bull foam. For that you'll need a can of Red Bull, methyl cellulose and xanthan gum as foaming agents and stabilizers, and a little turmeric for color and taste. Start by getting rid of as many bubbles as you can from the carbonated energy drink. I'm using a milk frother. but a whisk would work as well. Then add the other ingredients into the blender. If you made super syrup for sour cocktails without egg white, you'll still have methyl cellulose. You need 1.35 grams here. And I used xanthan gum for the stout foam on top of the old fashioned. Here we need 0.4 gram. Turmeric powder will not only add a light yellow color, it will complement the cocktail's appearance, but it also fits the cocktail's flavor. 0.1 gram will be enough. Blend the mixture for about 30 seconds. Make sure you get all of the turmeric into our cordial. Once blended, we'll do the same as for other foams on the channel. Pour it into an easy cream whipper and charge it with a nitrous oxide cartridge. Shake a few times, place it in the fridge to chill, and we can go back to the clarified cordial and turn it into a soda. Once the cordial thickens, it's time to filter it through a coffee filter. As always, if the first liquid coming through isn't completely clear yet, just refilter the first part to get the best result. Here it was good, so we let it filter on. Once filtered, we need 210 ml of our cordial and mix that with 510 ml of water. To make the flavors really pop, I'll also add 10 drops of 20% saline solution. That means we won't add it into the cocktail. I'm using a CO2 cartridge in the Easy Twist and Sparkle. Not sponsored by the way. Yet, hopefully. Because it's just a great tool to carbonate flavored liquids. If you don't have this, just mix the cordial with soda water and you're good to go. With that, we're ready to make our elevated Flying Stag. That means clear ice, so make sure you let it temper first. That's also important, because I'll make a small dimple on top of the ice, as the resting place for the garnish. Heat up a bar spoon and press it on the ice. Repeat until you're happy with the result. Then pour off the water and place the ice in the chilled low tumbler glass. First I'm adding 3 ounces or 90 ml of no bull soda. The order of ingredients is important, because we want our liqueur to mix in the drink nicely. So 1.5 ounce or 45 ml of Jägermeister. I'll still give everything a gentle stir. Then add a small dollop of our Red Bull foam on top. Nothing that would cause your heart to race, but enough to give you a nice clue of what you will be drinking. Cheers! This is a surprising and refreshing combination of the rich herbal notes of Jägermeister with a caffeine-free Red Bull-like soda. The fluffy Red Bull foam adds a sweet and frothy twist to the classic college shot, taking it to a new level of flavor and style. So I'll call this a success. With that, we made it to the bottom of the glass. In the other part of our studio, which has always felt like it was missing a little something to make it pop. And you can help us with that. We decided we'd love some nice framed cocktail-related art, but we can't decide what to put up there. We have a few things in mind, but we'll ask all of our Patreon supporters to vote on their favorite, and we'll show you what they decided in a couple of weeks. If you're a fan of cocktails and you would like to have a say in what our set looks like going forward, become a patron through the link below. Oh, and post a framed picture emoji in the comments if you made it all the way here. Thank you for the support, and I'll see you next week. Cheers!